Welcome to Shelor Select. The whole system will be ready in a few minutes. Take your seat and enjoy.
James Chilton, we rolling, bro.
All right, man. It's happening.
We got a new drink in the house tonight. James Chilton turned me on to this. You said you found out through one of your buddies?
Yeah, one of the guys who's drinking and you figured to give it a try. I know you like Buffalo Trace.
Yeah. So this is their, for those not watching YouTube videos or just listening, the White Dog Weeded Mash, which is 114 proof, which is, I guess, their version of a moonshine.
Yeah, I guess.
But it says whiskey distilled. Well, okay. Well, no, it's just saying it was distilled in there.
Maybe not moonshine, but pretty dang close. It's clear.
It's definitely got to be just like their version of a moonshine. But it says William LaRue Weller was a distillery and pioneer. So he took a traditional bourbon recipe and substituted wheat where rye was normally used. Damn, I butchered that sentence. Soft mellow spirit for sipping. Okay, this is for sipping.
Okay, yeah.
Before the whiskey ever made its way into the barrel for aging, it was drunk straight out of the still. It was called the White Dog. The raw distillery age was clear, unaged, and hinted for wheat. Okay, nobody cares. All right, well, that's what we're drinking tonight. Buffalo, shout out Buffalo Trace. Thanks. Cheers, big dog. All right, so been a lot going on, James, since you've been on here last, man.
Yeah, dude. And it feels like a long time. Like, I've a handful of podcasts have gone by before. It's like 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever. It feels like
I don't know.
Just cranking them out, man.
I don't know how many it is.
It's been a while.
But
yeah, no, it's been a long time. It was that Billy Joel song like for the longest time. Yeah, that's what it felt like on a I'm not gonna sing it for you. I don't want anyone to do that.
Do a little karaoke for everybody.
I don't know if you can get canceled from someone singing like that, but yeah, I don't
know if we should get into cancel culture, but it's getting a little too crazy now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like Billy Joel. Most people get along with Billy Joel, but
what else did he sing?
White Wedding.
Girl,
like that.
Does he sing White Wedding?
No, it's
Who's that?
Billy Idol.
Billy Idol. Okay, never mind.
There's lots of Billys out there. Yeah.
Uptown Girl.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Okay. I'm with you now.
There's a lot of other ones too, but like that you'd probably recognize. Yeah. Most people think of the. Maybe recently, most people think of him.
Is your mic
testing? Can you hear me?
I think, dude. I'm a little nervous because it doesn't sound as loud as it. Remind me of headphones you have.
I project. I got to project a little bit better. Is what you're saying?
That's your headphones. Just say something now.
Testing.
That's better.
Okay, that sounds better, right?
Yeah. I had you turned down too low.
Oh, okay. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Maybe that's what we should have. Okay, we're back. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry, we're still working out technical difficulties. Well, I think
it's been so long. Hey, just like the Billy Joel song, right?
Yeah.
I know. First thing I think was like Step Brothers when they were talking about it. I'm like, hey, like they're like Billy Joel cover band. Someone was like, do Uptown Girl. We're like, we don't do 80s Billy Joel. We just do like current. And they're like, do Uptown Girl. And they're like, no, we don't do that.
And he say he finally gets fucking mad.
Yeah, he gets like, all right, that's it. We're done. Get out of here.
They kick him out. It's like, you ruined a Catalina wine.
But
great
that's the first thing I think of, even though he's done a lot. That's the first thing I think of when someone says that. It's like a reptile part of my brain that just thinks, yeah, Step Brothers.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he appreciates that. He probably gets $1 every time we say it or something like that.
He probably does make a lot of movies because it's probably one of the most quoted movies of his. You think of his best movies? What's the best Will Ferrell movie?
The best one.
Are you Will Ferrell?
Sarah doesn't care. She's like he can kick rocks whenever he wants. My favorite, or you just think is best, or like most popular one. Probably Anchorman is probably his most popular one.
Yeah, that's probably the fan.
My favorite is not Old School.
The other guys?
Old School. The Other Guys is my favorite.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Old School is probably the next one I think of, like Anchorman or Old School, but The Other Guys is by far my favorite. Probably.
I agree 100%. Well, I don't know. Anchorman's tough to beat. I remember watching that in theaters.
Yeah.
In early 2000, I don't even know when it came out.
2008. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe. Wish we had my fact checker right here. But yeah, I remember watching it. So I think that was a good one. I guess maybe I'm going to go Anchorman.
Yeah.
We got a lot of laughs out of that.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the first thing most people probably say that they think of is Will Ferrell is probably Anchorman, but I don't know.
He's one of those guys that did he started doing a couple of weird movies, didn't he?
And he's tried to like
maybe not
do
weird.
some different stuff. Like he did that one movie where like the woman's like writing a book and narrating his life or something like that. It's like
Stranger
a comedy.
Than Fiction? Is that what it's called?
Maybe I can't remember. Yeah, that sounds all right. It's like she's like narrating and he can hear the narrator's voice or something like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, and he looked really upset. He goes, I'm not upset or something like that. And then she would narrate the rest of his day or his life or whatever like that. And he was a dude just living out the story that this woman was writing.
I bet you it was
I don't know. I don't know how many fourth walls they broke, or they take a Deadpool page and they're both in the same universe. I don't know how it works.
I don't know. I guess he decided to do something different besides this kind of stupid comedy movies, just to broaden his perspective or show more talents. It seems like like Adam Sandler kind of did the same thing, and even Jim Carrey did.
Yeah, like they don't want to be typecast.
Yeah,
is what it's called, right?
Oh, typecast.
Typecast.
I didn't know that.
Like where they're always the same. Always the same character. Always like Jim Carrey's always like the goofy guy who does all the faces and the impressions, and then Marky Mark is always a Boston street tough. Yeah. So I guess typecast is probably just like they don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Maybe it's like what Robin Williams used to be like. Yeah. The miserable thing of like him is like maybe doing a lot of stand up, and then like he did Disney movies. And then he did like a horror movie or something like that. It was like 1 hour photo, if you remember that.
I don't remember that one.
So he's kind of like a stalker, and people go get their photos. That's before. That's a while ago. So people would go to like a CVS and give people like a roll of film, and they develop the film.
Yeah.
And then like you get like your photos back or glossies back or whatever how you want to do it. Now, obviously, everyone's got a cell phone, so it doesn't matter. But I probably don't even do that shit anymore. But where he would be like a stalker, or he was like a,
so he would print out they get the photos, and he would like go follow them
like
around.
He would make he would like make photos, and he would be able to see all the photos of people taking like intimate photos, or if it's like, he would figure out where they live and stuff like that. And anyways, that was like a horror thriller kind of thing, but he was like really creepy in it. Whereas, some other people might think of him as like from Genie from the Aladdin, and then he's making like a movie about like sneaking up on people and being like a stalker or Peeping Tom or something. I can't remember. It was kind of that was a good movie. It was just like very different. And then like probably the next movie he made was probably like an animated movie again or something like that.
I'm gonna have to peep this.
So I mean, he did a shit ton of stuff. So I mean, he did obviously a lot of humor and stuff. Robin Williams did a lot of humor and stuff, but he did some like good serious roles too. Like Good Will Hunting. We quote that shit all the time, right?
Yeah, dude.
So I mean, that was kind of he had some humor in that, but that was more like dramatic role, I guess you call that.
Yeah, but it was I mean, it was just so hard to see that somebody like him would be. I guess he was depressed.
Yeah, like
or
struggled with
demons.
Yeah, I think he struggled with depression. I think he had a couple other mental health things going on too. Like I don't know 100% about it. I just knew that he had some. Yeah, had other things going on.
But you would not think that, just I guess based on. I mean, because you're only seeing what everybody wants you to see.
Yeah, or like he's on stage all the time. Every time you
Yeah, you don't see behind like the curtain of like Wizard of Oz, like what's going on when he's by himself.
I guess. And I guess that's true for a lot of folks. But like,
it's very similar to like Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, because he calls himself as well,
right?
And like, I mean, he had that like super successful TV show, and it's just like a really.
Yeah, he was a badass dude.
Yeah, and like. Super funny show. I used to really like watching his show, like the reruns of his show and stuff like that were always really good. So.
Yeah, and just I don't know, you wouldn't think, but I guess and even Joe Rogan's talked about it, how he does he did the party and but I think that was part of just him
Who Anthony Bourdain? Are we talking about him again?
Yeah, still Anthony Bourdain. Sorry, but that they went on some kind of hunting or camping trip or something, and that Joe was just saying that even into the night he was still knocking back drinks,
keeping it going.
Smoking. Yeah, he was like, I don't care. But,
I feel like that could be just that
white dog be slapping.
Man, what is in here?
This is 114 proof, so we don't condone anything we're going to be saying.
You could burn warts off with that and take paint off boats and shit like that. So, magnified. The drinking and the alcohol can just magnify any feeling that he has. I mean, people used to say, it's not going to make you say stupid stuff. It's going to reveal things that you might really always want to say. Have you ever heard of that before?
Yeah,
saying that?
I've heard that before, that like how you just said magnify. Whatever mood you're in, when you start drinking, it'll amp that up to
even though you have
value.
It's technically like a depressant, so physiologically and the psychology it's classified as a depressant, whereas like a stimulant would be like caffeine or Coke
Cocaine.
or or
The cocaine.
anything else. Yeah, the cocaine. And that's why they were like, all right, well, let's mix those things together. And Four Loko was born.
Oh man, I always forget about Four Loko.
Yeah, I was like born and like came into the world like screaming with like a dude named Chad and like a mullet and like
Chads.
old road T-shirt or something like that. Yeah,
Man, I remember when they came out in college and we played a rainbow game with them one night and that was one of the worst nights ever. But you get every flavor, like a can of them, and you just drink them, and then when you throw up, it's all the different colors.
yeah. I think like okay, rainbow. Yeah, I can't remember. Some of them were just so bad. Like they had so many flavors. I think just some of them were awful, and I think they were like shortly like, all right, this is illegal now. And I'm like, all right, okay, they don't make this shit anymore. And they're like.
Didn't they try to make another version?
Yeah, they make other versions and stuff like that, but I think it has to do with the amount of caffeine in it. I think they'd be like, oh, yeah, this is like 3 cups of coffee. And then it's also like 4 shots of alcohol.
I do wonder how many milligrams was in that.
I can't remember. It was like, it's probably like what an energy drink is now, plus
300.
Yeah,
and then it's like in a rain or a bang.
which is still kind of high. Because I think
I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but what's in a cup of coffee?
I guess it depends on your dark race and light race kind of thing. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's not 300. I would think it would like a espresso shot would be more like closer to that, but your coffee is probably going to be a lot less. But I mean, yeah, with having the uppers and the downers at the same time, yeah, that is a gnarly combination, and hence why it was probably illegal now. But I feel like they make alternate versions of that, but probably just less caffeine or some kind of to make it easy to be like, all right, well, this is not the same as Four Loko. This is Four Loko with 1K, not 2Ks or whatever. I can't remember. No, just kidding. Yeah, I'm not. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Well, they had to do
with the
something
amounts.
like in order to, because it got cut off.
Because people were getting like, their hearts were exploding and getting drunk at the same time, like ridiculously fast because of the caffeine, and then adding that with alcohol was like destroying your body on the inside, like a UFC fight on the inside of your body.
Luckily, yeah, your body had no idea what to do, if it should go, like you just said, be depressed or go crazy. At the same time.
And probably people like really impulsive and then make really impulsive decisions faster with caffeine. Everybody felt like Conor McGregor's leg after they drank it.
Oh, dude. So speaking of that, he was hurt before even going into.
Yeah, I was listening to his training camp.
Yeah,
so he had like a hairline fracture, I think, going into it.
Yeah, so a lot of people thought that he just literally stepped wrong and it broke, but it was literally.
We're talking about how he got checked, or he checked a kick or something like that.
He kicked Dustin, and then I saw one video somebody posted, and you could tell like right then it started.
Yeah, it wasn't right. Yeah. And then he just stepped on it rather than being like, he got his leg kicked off. Like people were saying, like, oh my God, he got his leg kicked in half or something like that.
But,
it was already broken.
Yeah. So, going into the fight, it was broken.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Nothing on, I think that's why he got a bad rep. It was like, oh, what a bad fight or whatever. Yeah. But, he still went in there, tried to go to a UFC fight and fight somebody with a fucking broken leg.
Oh, I can't imagine the pain that he was in, like, doing the memes are hilarious now with, like, Joe Rogan, like going by the side and stuff like that. But, yeah, I can't imagine. But not only breaking a leg like that, but, like, gosh, you know that, like, he probably knew it was broken. Like, as soon as he got kicked, he's probably like, all right, this is not good. But he's still like, I'm going to keep throwing punches and I'm going to still do whatever, and then just step back and get out.
What do you do? In that fight, do you just say, you feel it, and you're like, nah, I'm going to be a pussy? And I
think people would judge him harder if he just said, no, I'm done.
Oh, yeah, they would have thought, like, he really... Oh,
he bitched out, or kind of thing. Be like, people are just like, we want to see blood. Break his leg off.
The dude had a broken leg and still sat next to the cage and cussing.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I bet he was probably like. People were probably like, stay the fuck away from this guy, because if he gets a hold of you, man, he's just gonna like, it hurts so bad. I'm gonna break something to you too. But
what do you think he's done, or do you think he's?
Be honest, probably not. I mean, people were talking. Do you hear the people were talking about how he's potentially gonna get like a, or I guess the rumor, or people were talking about how he's gonna get like a piece of titanium or something like that in his leg, or
I haven't heard that.
Like, I can't remember who it was now. I'm butchering it, so this is terrible, but
it's okay. It's okay. We do that on this podcast.
So, anyways, white dog. that he was going to get either like a plate or a rod or something like that to, like obviously to strengthen the leg and either get him back in, growing, either getting the bones to set and do that kind of thing. And you've heard of that. People breaking bones, they put like a rod or they'll put like
I had to do one on my arm.
Oh, you had one. So you had one. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they were like, oh, well, this is going to be bullshit because he's going to get a rod in his leg and he's going to have metal and then he's going to be kicking people's legs off and faces off and stuff like that. And people were like, it's probably going to hurt him way fucking more if you kick somebody with that. I haven't had one of those. Have you ever like hit your arm when you had that thing?
Yeah, so like,
different? Or?
I was in the 3rd grade and I had it, and it was just to hold the bones together.
Okay.
To heal, but they had to take it out because it would stunt the growth in the arm.
Oh, really?
Because there was 4 screws.
I guess because you're so young.
Yeah,
growing that fast.
I was literally in 3rd grade, so.
Dang. So you probably weren't doing that many fights in the octagon, right, at that point?
Yeah, no. We started early out back in the school backyard. But yeah, I do remember that just when it was in the cast and stuff, they were like, hey, if you move it or do anything weird or touch it against something, you're going to feel a different type of pain than what you normally would.
Because didn't Chad have that as well? Didn't he have like a rod or he had like screws or something like that? I remember him like
from the foosball.
Yeah, I think from the foosball, where he like banged his knee against something or an ankle or something like that, and he could feel it hit like a screw or something that was still in his. I can't remember.
You know what? We still should do like a phone call thing on here. I should have brought my cord. Just to see if it would work.
Oh, to have. Oh, okay, yeah.
Say, actually, grab that cord right there behind.
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry, folks. We might be trying something.
Oh, I like that. Trying new things.
I don't know if this will work.
Does it need to be that end or?
Yeah.
It's like science, man. All these wires and stuff. Oh, you need some Bunsen burners and schematics and stuff like that in the back.
All right. So then. I bet. What do you think? What's the chances of him picking up?
Probably pretty good. It's Saturday.
I don't know how this is going to work though. Whatever. We'll just tell him to get off.
Hey man, whatever you're doing, drop it.
I was hoping I would hear the ring. I mean, worst case, I could still put the speaker.
Oh, I can hear it.
You hear your headphones or just wait?
Actually, I don't know now.
I don't know either. Dude ain't gonna pick up.
Hi, this is Chad Perry.
Oh.
Sorry I missed your call. Please leave a.
I bet you have to have a different connection. Let me turn that up more. Anyway, so,
okay. Well, just in case he calls back, like it was.
Yeah. Well, we tried it. I feel like that's what you did. Maybe I'll turn that up a little bit more. That's a headphone volume, so maybe I'll turn that one up. All right, whatever. We tried it.
For a second there, I thought I could hear the.
Right,
maybe it's because
if anybody calls, whatever. All right, sorry folks. Sorry, we're trying new stuff. But yeah, I guess he did have that.
Because I remember him being at the gym one
it.
time when like he either banged his ankle or knee or something like that, and he was like went to the ground. I was like, "Oh shit, are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I have a screw in there still." I'm like, "Okay, all right, that probably sucks real bad." So
yeah, you hit that wrong. I mean,
yeah, I guess bringing it back to Connor. I can imagine getting hit, and maybe it's hitting like any part of that. I'm sure it probably doesn't feel. Oh my god, the guys that kick and you hear it like the slab. Oh, it sounds rough. But I can't imagine making like a ping noise like a baseball bat or something like that.
Well, I mean, the guy. We did a competition last week. Well, for folks who don't know, James and I competed last week in the competition.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
Hold tight.
But one dude messed his knee up, and right?
Yeah, I heard that he had hurt his knee before though, so it was just like bad, ready.
Yeah, so
and went to save a lift that probably shouldn't have been attempted, but it's a competition. But yeah, it's super super unfortunate.
But still, I mean, it's kind of almost the same thing. He went in there knowing he had a bad leg, but
yeah, I mean,
I guess maybe not as bad as he thought.
Yeah, who knows if it could have been like, hey, I'm just gonna see what I can do. If it's been really bad, I don't know how long ago in the past it was, but I mean. Shit, I mean that's rough to hurt the same leg. I mean, I don't know if it's the same way or anything, but gosh, yeah, hate that anyone got hurt. But I feel like it's very rare that you see that kind of stuff.
Well, that's really the first time I've seen it.
Any injury like that
that
at a
bad
competition,
of an injury, yeah. Other than like a rip or
I mean
muscle pull or something.
I mean, when at the Guardian Games we had one woman break her nose or crack her nose open. I can't remember if she broke it or not, but
what
we did,
happened?
remember the Dirty South bar. So Dirty South bar is essentially a bar that has it's like
Rocky. Got it.
has like a triangular shape. So there's like a regular stacked 2 bars to
Oh,
get
okay, I know
support,
what
and
you're
then there's
talking
one that goes out so people can do muscle ups on it.
I know what you're talking about.
And then I can't remember. I think it was only one bar like that. I think they call it 30 South bar, but I could be wrong.
I've never heard that, but it sounds good.
It's on Rogue, sponsored. Please. For the competition, they had 1 bar, and that was like that. And we just said, please, nobody use this because we don't want anyone to get hurt, and we want to make it as fair as possible, so not one person gets an advantage of having like a specific type of bar. Even though it probably didn't, somebody would be like, that's shitty because I want to use that bar.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we said just no one use it, and it was facing out, so the bar faces out, and then we said everyone has to face out so that no one face out, as in like stand on the rig so that you're back to back across from somebody, and then you're facing out into the floor. And somebody went and they were warming up, just wasn't thinking, hopped up on the bar, grabbed the bottom bar, and then went go do like a chest to bar pull up or something like that. And obviously the other bar sticks out, so when they brought their face up there, cracked it right across the nose. You remember that?
Where was it at?
I think I want to say.
I remember the story, but I don't know if for some reason
I want to say Richmond, but
Well, I probably was there.
we did a lot of them. So I mean, I want to say Richmond, but I can't be totally sure.
At pushing weight.
It could have been, or I'm
last
either
year,
Roanoke
yeah.
Valley or Pushing Weight, or I'm gonna say.
Dude, I don't remember. Hey, shut up.
Shoot, I can't. Anyway, maybe I'll think about it. But anyways, yeah, that was like one of the only things. But she competed later too, so
So she kept going.
she kept going. So
Bold move.
yeah, very. Either it wasn't that bad because somebody said, "Oh, she broke her nose," and I was like, "Okay." And it wasn't even during an event. It was just like warming up before we haven't even 3, 2, 1 go, nothing like that. It was just jumped up on a bar, and it's a mistake, as it happens. But of all the times, we've done competitions, or we've been to competitions, run competitions. I've never seen anyone do that or anything. So it's just very rare. But
Well, yeah, I mean, just like you said, it is super rare, and I think almost that's what gives CrossFit a bad name, or sometimes weightlifting in general.
Yeah.
Because I still have family members like, watch out for your back.
Yeah.
You're gonna hurt it.
so my parents came.
Sorry to
I
any
would say
family members listening to this.
mom and pop came, and and this is not the way when I say it like this. I'm gonna say it's funny. It's ironic. It's ironic that the day before I was talking to my mom, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you competing like forever." This is maybe the second time. She's like, "Just please be safe out there, all right?" Because my mom's always like that. She'd be saying that if I was going,
Typical
I'm going to go on
moms.
a mountain bike trip. She's like, "All right, just be safe, all right?" Okay, yeah. But she's like, "Oh man, it just makes you nervous when you guys do all this stuff." And I see people doing the videos and stuff. I was like, "Mom, this is like really safe." I've never seen anybody get hurt, and this was literally the day before the competition. I've never seen anyone get hurt.
Yeah.
Most of the injuries we get from like overuse, right? Hey, my shoulder's feeling janky because of all this. Anyways, so that guy gets hurt as my parents are arriving, walking through the door, and people are running past, like, call an ambulance or whatever. This guy's hurt. My mom's all like, "Oh my god!" I'm like,
Done.
dang it. Then of course I jinxed the hell out of the dude, so I should really say sorry. Just hey man, pouring that for him. I'm really sorry, guy. I jinxed the hell out of you. He was talking to my mom yesterday. He was like, "Who are you?" Never mind. But yeah, no. So, anyways, we competed. It's a good transition. Sorry.
No, I mean, yeah, it was really good. I mean, especially for not really competing for more than a year, especially you.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I mean,
For you, especially, it's been years, right?
yeah, I posted on Instagram about it. I think it was more than 3 years. I think it was like 3.5 years.
Jay Chilton on Instagram.
Thanks so plug.
If anybody's wondering.
But yeah, no, it's been a long time because for the Guardian Games, obviously we run them, and you've helped work a ton of them. So I know you've had more opportunity to compete than I have. But yeah, it was good to get back in there and do that. Especially,
A whole new feeling comes back.
yeah. Speaking of which, we're already talking about doing the next competition.
Yeah.
Too. So yeah, we're like, all right, this is nice. I just need to keep doing this now.
It's almost, I don't want to say you're addicted, but, especially for some reason, the third workout, when you said, we got to go ham on this one or go all out, that was just like, fuck, James is right.
Yeah.
If we're going to try to make the finals, this is what we got to do. And
It was a pretty dense field too. They had a lot of good dudes out there competing. So we don't have to break down each event. I guess we can, but like in the third event, we were sitting right in the middle, right? We were like right in the middle of the pack.
Roughly, I guess, yeah.
I can't remember the placing. They turned the scoring off. So I think last time I checked, we were like in the 7th spot, 6th or 7th spot. So we were right in the middle pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had to bust hump to finish. I think Chad said we got a first or a second place finish on that event to put us into the final. So,
but yeah, it seems. I just remember there were so many. I know there was a lot riding on it, and there were so many people. Seemed like they were watching it. That's what I thought compared to the other events. I guess because it was the last workout of the day.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you start going and you get flowing and you hear people.
The competitive environment,
yeah, and it's just a whole new energy comes out. Your mindset just completely changes, and like I don't, like during training, like usually I'm just like today when we were working out, I'm just like, fuck, I ain't picking this bar up again. But during that, you're just like, I'm picking this fucking bar.
It's like a Fast and Furious movie where you have they're like always shifting. There's like 50 gears and they're always like shifting. Like the camera pans down and they're like shifting again. Yeah. They're smashing the gas pedal. They shift again. They're like, all right, this guy's like on his 8th gear here. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just pushing that like you're saying, that intensity, that reaching back for that. Maybe not that dark place is not the way to say it, but you're gonna bust hump a little harder. You're gonna push a little harder. I'm gonna stay on the bar a little farther. Longer. I'm gonna try to, sneak an extra rep in here or there, whereas usually in training you're like, okay, I think I'm getting ready to hit my max, because usually you don't go to that dark place very often in training, every once in a while, but because physically you can't do that every day of training, otherwise you get totally wrecked.
Overtraining.
Yeah, you get totally wrecked. So, obviously we were a little tender this week. I'll speak for myself at least. I'm very tender, very tender after a competition. Haven't doing that much volume, but it was like one of those, like, you feel awesome while you're doing it. Like in the competition, you're like, all right, I just did that as an event. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna eat a Snickers bar. I'm gonna drink a little protein, all that stuff. I'm feeling good. And then you're sitting down. You're like, man, my legs are starting to get a little heavy.
Yeah, after that second workout, I was doing the same.
So
yeah, and speaking of another gear, I mean, just completely PR in our 500 rows. I mean, I know that was PR for me, and then just
we were hustling.
Yeah, and I would if we did that workout on a normal training day, I would never go that hard.
Like I said, there's it's hard to go and pull back to that dark place, and just like a regular workout, it's like on a regular day, you're like, man, I got stuff to do after this thing.
Was it Camille LeBlanc talking about going to a dark? Who talked about going?
A couple of them have talked about. I think she's talked about it recently.
I thought somebody brought it up, and that was kind of the coined the term,
like that dark place.
Yeah,
people say it all.
Maybe it's her. Maybe it's Rich or something. Who knows?
It could be.
I thought I heard it on one of the.
I feel like that guy never goes to a dark place. He's just like,
he's just
all right, man, I guess we're working out, man. No problem.
This
is a Tuesday. All right.
Yeah, just chilling.
But yeah, so I guess make a little sense. Not make a little sense. The event was a 9-minute cap, right? 9 minutes
for the second workout.
Yeah, it was for time.
Yeah,
it was a for time and rep situation where like the second event was. Or the second listed event, not the floater. It was 9 minutes. You rode 1,000 meters as a team, so we did 500 and 500. And then you had 90 thrusters at 95 pounds, and then with remaining time, you had as many handstand push-ups as possible.
Right.
So, yeah, we had practice in the week before, or maybe the week. I think maybe like a Monday or something like that. Yeah, the Monday before.
We did it the week of.
So it must have been like a Monday or Tuesday of.
Like literally probably, like Monday, Tuesday, like 4 or 5 days before.
I'm gonna say Tuesday. I think we did say Tuesday, but that doesn't matter. Anyways, we that week we tried to determine if it was gonna be 500s or if it was gonna be 250s, or we got advice saying, hey, you should try 250s, but we were like, I don't know. We tried both options, and
we found out. The 250s, we were 30 seconds faster. Sitting in our gym training.
I think because we did it like 330-ish, 340 something.
Correct. And then when the day of the competition, we did
very fast 500s.
Yeah, folks. I'm not trying to say we're on a high horse by any means here. Too. We're just talking about what we did. So we're not gassing ourselves up.
No.
I mean, we work out, but and we pump each other up. But we're just explaining our strategy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like we just kind of.
To also add a little disclaimer to that, we did better. PR. You say PR. We did better than expected in almost all of our events. So, which is we talked about it a couple times already, but I rambled on about a lot. But we're not trying to be on the high horse. We're just saying this is how the event went, and they ended up going well for us. So But
Yeah,
yeah,
it went
sorry.
super well, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, we did 500s and PR both. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the fastest I ever rode 500. I mean,
Yeah.
and then I know that's the fastest you probably rode 500.
Oh,
like
I
you said.
get 100%.
So-
100%.
And then we had to do thrusters after that, so that was something. That was a tough event, man.
I started thinking. I didn't put it together that 45 thrusters is what you would do in Fran.
Right.
Yeah.
To do 90. So you're doing the same amount of work, only just super condensed, like right away. And 15s is the worst part of that workout anyway. So, of course, we did sets of 15. So. But,
Yeah, and that slapped my shoulders way harder.
yeah, because the next part was the handstand push-ups, which
Yeah.
hit like a Mack truck there. And like,
I didn't expect my shoulders to gas out like that for some reason. But they even did it when we kind of practiced that workout beforehand.
yeah.
But still, I guess I thought day of that. I guess with what we just were talking about, that new energy and
Yeah, pushing that
adrenaline
extra
rush.
gear.
Yeah, but I was like, "Fuck, my shoulders hurt."
Yeah, my gosh. We were like, all right, we're going to do 10s. I think I did one and fell off the wall the first time. So it was like 2 fell off. All right, let's dial it back. You did a set of 10, right, the first time?
No, I did a set of 8.
Okay, so because I did a set of 8
'Cause
also.
I was like, I'm gonna fail.
Yeah, I was like, if I do one more, if I do 9,
Yeah.
I'm blowing up. So
I think
we
I
went.
did-
We were planning on 10s at 8s, but
Correct.
Yeah,
I think
8s
I did.
and 2s.
I did
and-
8s, and then after the 8s, it got to where just go whatever you think you can do, without
which was
failing the rep.
7 or 8. But God bless, man, my shoulders were blown up after that, and then when we got to the third event, my quads, I started to feel my quads they were so heavy. I don't know if I've ever had my quads hurt that bad. After
that
a
workout,
any
yeah.
competition I've ever done, any workout, that I was like, my legs are sore already. Not like, delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS people talk about,
Yeah.
where it's like, 2 to 3 days, and you're gonna feel. I'm like, man, I got early onset muscle soreness. I was like doing those box
I got
jump
the
errors. And I was like, don't fall.
Well,
Don't fall.
even like compared to a 20 rep max back squat that we used to do.
That's a different kind of pain.
Yeah, but I thought this one hurt.
I thought my legs hurt
Instantly.
more doing that, but I think I would say from like my hair to my toes, my whole body hurt doing the 20 rep max.
There's your toes.
It was like I can feel my hair hurt somehow. Like
My follicles hurt.
yeah, like my body's rejecting this.
But no, it was a good day overall. It was a well-run competition.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job. Chad did a great job, I think.
Yeah, shout out Chad.
Yeah.
Even though we just
He didn't even answer our call. We were gonna just sing his praises.
I'm just waiting any minute. Like
Oh
he's
man, we're gonna
call
blow
back.
sunshine up his ass like no other, man.
But yeah, for those, I guess what I was kind of want to get out of this is just saying that if you haven't competed and you generally enjoy CrossFit as much as you and I do, I mean, it brings out, it's a humbling experience, but it's also that brings out a new energy. And
Yeah.
like I've been saying, that you're like, oh, there's levels to this shit. And if you want to get better, it's just that, yeah, it depends on what your goals are, obviously.
For
but
sure.
Yeah, but if you want to compete, that's like, oh, it's good to kind of get in that value and learn and, I don't know, to see it, I guess. You don't even have to compete, but if you just go to one and just watch, you're like, oh, this is all it's all about.
Do you remember going to the first competition?
I was in Roanoke Superfit.
Okay.
My first one. Well, actually,
Maybe going to watch one or going to see one?
no, I went and that was the one all right, no. So the first one actually I ever did was the one that Foster did down at the old. boxing
yeah.
And I don't know if you would count that as a competition.
It was like in-house, but like
Yeah.
let's say like
that was like
a formal competition.
Okay,
formal
that was like
CrossFit
kind of my
competition.
first, I guess, somewhat experience of one. But my actual first legitimate like team one was at a Roanoke Superfit at Brick
Okay.
House. Shout out! I think Ike did that one. It was a 4-person.
Did y'all do that as a
I think it was
4-person?
I think it was me, Ike, Sarah, and Sierra.
That's a while ago.
That was early CrossFit, like 2013, 14.
So that would be almost 8 years ago now.
Yep.
So let's say 7, 8 years
I think
ago.
legitimately that was
Almost
the
a
first
decade.
one. Fuck. I didn't think about it like
Sorry, I
that.
didn't mean to bring that
When you say it like that. When you say it like that.
Okay, I forget I said it. But I know what you're saying of like even if you're just watching, I remember watching my first one and I was like, I definitely want to do this again. I would definitely want to try that out and do that because everyone's competitive at some point. But for those that are like you're saying maybe that are not, even if it's not a competition, even to go to watch, like man, hey, I want to go work on X, Y, Z. I want to work on myself to get better, or that kind of thing too. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah, like it's just that you actually, some people just actually go and it's like, oh, maybe they say they want to get better at something, but then when you actually see it, to me, is that
they're following through, and
it's like, oh, okay, now this is what it takes if I actually want to get to this level. And, and if you're fine with just getting a decent workout in, I mean, that's kind of
and that's cool.
And if you're competitive at something else, I mean, some people like checkers and want to be competitive at that, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and in different strokes, different folks.
Yeah, but it just brings out a new animal in you, and it's just. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I don't know. I guess I'm explaining this really. Sorry.
No. I see what you're saying. And
I don't really know. I guess I really don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing.
So here. All right, let me try it now. All right.
Okay.
Anyways, I feel like it's one of those things where you get to test yourself, obviously, because it's a test of fitness, and in this case, it's a competition. So you're gonna try to push that extra gear. You're gonna try to go a little bit further than you normally do in training and that kind of stuff, and you see where you sit. And for a lot of folks that don't do that before, it's scary because, man, I was nervous as hell getting ready to do that first event. After a while, I get nervous no matter what. Hey, some of the workouts that I do in the gym, I still get nervous.
Yeah,
even when someone's
I know how that goes.
So you're like, man, get nervous and all this, but then you push that extra gear, and then you're like, man, I didn't think I could do that. Man, I want to get that feeling again. Well, what's going to happen the next time I do a competition? Or, hey, I saw somebody do that competition. Man, they PR'd their lift, or they went so fast, and they didn't think they were going to be able to do that. Man, I want to try to get that feeling too. So for those folks that are, like you're saying, like if you don't have no desire to compete, totally cool. But if you do have that desire to compete and then you go to watch, it's like why people watching the CrossFit games. Like, hey, like these people are doing these amazing things. I'd like to try to get into some of that, or like, hey, people from other sports, like if you were, former team sport athlete, you're like, I like winning, or like, hey, I want to try to go and win this thing, or hey, I like competing. That's a great avenue for you. But so I agree with your sentiment, being like,
there we go.
Hey, I want to push the next level. I want to try to get better. But you said it's also very humbling because
it is humbling.
You do you're like, whoa, okay, that kind of blew my doors off. Like that event, like, hey, we're thinking, oh yeah, we do workouts with 95-pound thrusters all the time, and then you're like, you do that workout and you're like, man, we did really well, but holy sin, did we get our doors blown off by that? Or so I don't know, which is also fun too in a sense, like hey, it's an ego check is maybe a way to say it. You're like, hey, this is where I sit. Like, this is, I felt like I'm pretty good at thrusters, or I felt like I'm pretty good at pull-ups, or I felt like I'm pretty good at running. And then you do an event that has one of those and it doesn't go your way, and you're like, man, maybe I need to reevaluate what I'm doing, or hey, maybe I need to work a little harder on this, and which just leads to more like self-improvement and things like that. I'm rambling.
No, it's crazy, cool, man. No, I like it. But, I mean, you almost need to be knocked back a peg just because, I mean, I learned a lot, like we've been saying, just from being humbled and not doing as good as what you think you're doing, and brings you back down to earth. And there's exceptions to every rule, like Matt Frazier and Rich Froning who talk about going in and just winning every event.
But I mean, like Rich Froning fell off the rope and he couldn't find it. In 2010, he fell off the rope. Matt Frazier didn't win the first time. He got second or third or something like that. And
well, I mean, that's still pretty good, I guess.
I mean, still,
but I guess he thought he was going to win. But anyway, I was just saying that. You reflect on it and you're like, okay, all right. So maybe I'm not as good as I was or think I am, but it's also how do I build off this? And it lights that fire inside.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, you start. I guess I don't know. Maybe we're just saying the same thing in just different ways.
I think so. We are.
Okay, just I don't know, but you're just. How do I improve myself and how do I get better? And you just need to be humble, I guess, and you need to lose sometimes.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. That's a great way to think about it. It's like to struggle is to succeed. Have you ever heard that?
Yep.
Like really hard and tough people, like people who are tough as woodpecker lips. They failed a lot to get to where they're at. Like I listened to a podcast with John Wellborn and was it Chris Duffin?
Power athlete,
yeah.
Shout out Chris Wellborn.
And then
John Wellborn,
yeah. Power athlete John Wellborn. And they had Chris Duffin on, and he's like the guy that's made like the Duffalo bar. That like the bar that has like that moon shape. Yeah. So and like he's super strong dude, like squatted. like over 1,000 pounds for like a couple reps. Dude's
good.
But he has like a crazy life story. It's a good. I think it's worth time if you want to go check out a good podcast. But they were talking about how like some people have different walks of life, right? And then the people that are really good at something had to struggle or work really hard to get there. Some people are naturally gifted, but for the people that had to, hey, reinvent themselves, or hey, I have to try this again, or I have to, fail a couple times to figure out the right way to do something. Like, I guess in that podcast, I talk about how like a tree is not going to get stronger and bigger by just always being in the perfect conditions. Yeah, it might grow a lot, but it's not going to be that tough. Yeah. Whereas like, hey, if the wind's blowing really hard, this tree's going to enforce its roots and just get stuck into the ground because, hey, no, if it doesn't do that, it's going to get blown off the rock. So like, hey, you want to be strong, you have to, weather like the winds and all the stuff, the struggles of like failing and falling down, or, getting your ass kicked in and, all that stuff to make you tougher for the next time, to prepare you for the next event, prepare you for like, all right, so next time it gets shitty or next time it's really windy out, I'm gonna be able to hold on to that rock and then go from there. So, it's probably good to fail, because if you never experience failure, you're not going to be a more well-rounded person, athlete, human being, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And deal with, hey, what happens when, like the Mike Tyson, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face or punched in the mouth. So like back to the UFC, right? You get punched in the face with they're like, all right. Most of those guys are like, all right, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to get better next time. Hey, I dropped my hands, or hey, X, Y, Z. Anyways.
Yeah.
I'm kind of rambling, but yeah, that's good. They talked about that, and this just made a light bulb went off in my head as soon as you said that. Like that failure, or that like, hey, I'm going to work on this next time because they kicked my ass or whatever, is going to just make you better in the long run. So for folks that like the self-improvement, it's scary. And it sucks when it happens. Like, I'll give you an example. And I know you already told me to shut my mouth about this stuff, but my last event, I fell twice doing a handstand walk. And
shut your mouth.
Yeah, shut your mouth. I was beating the crap out of myself, and it's natural, but like, I didn't expect to get to the final, to be honest. So
I didn't either.
I was happy just to be there, kind of thing. But while you're doing it, you're like, oh shit, I really wish I would have did this to X, Y, Z. Anyways.
Yeah, I thought we were done for the day.
We got another workout. Yeah.
Folks who don't know how this works, that you're guaranteed 3 workouts. In this competition, we did a floater. So if you finish in this competition, they did top 4. If you finish in the top 4, you go to the finals.
Get another workout.
Chance
on the podium.
You find out that minute what the workout's going to be, and you got to do it no matter what. Unless I guess you go. Well, I guess you could just say, "Yeah, I'm good."
Wait, I've seen people do that, but
I'm all right.
I'm going home. I'm already drinking beer.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we made the finals.
Yeah, so we made the finals. So we're all like already like sweet, sick, and then
let's tell everybody what the workout was.
The workout was a sprint.
A 50, yeah.
Yeah, so 50 cal. 50 cal.
A little small chipper.
Yeah, chipper, yeah. 50 cal on the ski erg.
And that was like my second or third time in my life doing it.
Yeah, and this is the first time I've done it in an official workout. I've messed
Chad, just so you know that. And everybody else.
Then 40 toes to bar.
40 toes to bar.
A 30-foot handstand walk.
Yep.
We each had to do 15 feet.
Correct.
And then the final movement was 20 sandbag cleans or over the shoulders.
Yeah, 150 pounds.
My goodness. So yeah, like we
painted the picture for him.
Yeah. Paint me a picture. So Picasso or no, anyways. So I fell twice in the event trying to rush, and I was like, thinking about it. That like is one of those where we practice handstand walks all the time, and I'm just losing my train of thought. So during the event, I was super hard on my I was like right after the event, I just want to go jump out in traffic, man. I was like, man, that cost us to lose and all this. I was beating the crap out of myself, like mentally. And I was like, rather than being like, I made it to the finals, didn't think I was going to make it here, and then we lost by a second.
Yeah.
So which is like, to me personally, I'd almost rather get crushed into the earth by 40 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, rather than lose by a second. But that's just me personally.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that say that. I missed a game-winning basketball shot.
Yeah.
You're just going to – I mean, it's just human nature.
Yeah.
You're going to crush yourself and beat yourself up. But
that's one of those things when we were talking about it. It's also, I feel pretty good normally with handstand walks, but in the moment of I'm trying to rush and get down there, haul ass, get there across. Like in the corner, I think in the corner of my eye, I saw the team next to us was the team that beat us.
Yeah.
I thought the first guy was the second guy, meaning I thought that the other guy had already gone.
Okay.
So I thought it's me and this other guy are the last two. And we had to win. We had to not finish last in that event to get on the podium.
Correct.
So I had already thought, holy shit, this guy is already gone. You had gone. You raced across.
Yeah.
Usain Bolt on his hands here. But I had thought, oh my gosh, this guy's getting ready to walk. And it was the first guy. It's not the second guy. If that makes sense. So
wait. The guy beside the team beside us.
The team beside us, pardon me. Yeah.
It was the
next lane over, the team beside us.
Okay.
You had gone across, and you were one of the first teams. It was like the second or third.
I think we were the third team across.
So,
well, no. Okay, yeah. So we were the third team off the ski erg.
Right.
And then I went across, and then it was still us two back. And I think the other two teams had already started staying back.
So out of the four of us, it was the other two teams that started, and then to me it was because that was the last. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because the last two teams were us and the other team.
Correct.
And one of us needed to finish to get on the podium. And I had thought, since you went across, and I looked down, I'm like getting ready to do my walk. I see you walking across, and out of the corner of my eye, I'm getting ready to. I thought that the other team had already crossed, meaning like the first guy had also moved. Yeah. So in my head, I was thinking like, oh crap, I need to hustle because the other guy is the second guy, as I'm also the second guy, the second person to do, because we each had to do 15 feet. I thought, okay, this is where I need to get across quick to get us enough time, whatever. But the first guy hadn't gone yet. I thought he was the second guy. So I think
so they were both still just waiting on.
So like the first guy had started. Yeah, you had already gone across.
Okay.
The first guy that had not done a handstand walk yet had not attempted yet. But I was under the impression he was the second. So I was like, I got to hustle. I went really too fast. I fell once. I was like, okay, you fell once. Get back up. No big deal. But then the reptilian part of my brain is like, fast, go fast. Ricky Bobby, go fast. So yeah, fell again, and then ended up coming down to like that last little, a second. So I was like, look at that. I'm like kicking myself, but it's like, that struggle was like, man, maybe I need to in a competition setting, or maybe I'm going to start to get, shitty, and you're into the workout or you're doing whatever. You need to just calm down and just run your race and not do that. And like, I feel like I watch all those CrossFit Games, like documentaries, and they're like, you just need to run your race. And then they talk about, so I didn't run my race. I looked over at the guy next to me and I was like, I need to catch that guy. And he was like, yeah, that guy's the fastest guy in the field. I'm not the fastest runner. Anyways, this is what I felt like after. So what I'm trying to say is I try to make myself feel as much like Matt Fraser as I possibly can. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, you are.
But that struggle and the failure, I mean, like, not that I'm happy that we didn't make the podium, but I'm like, all right, so what's something good I can take away from this?
You gotta take away the good.
Yeah, otherwise I'm gonna drive myself crazy, kicking myself in the ass like I was for the whole weekend. But anyways,
well, I mean, it could have really been different. I mean, just because I don't think you've been on a ski erg that much either, and I don't know what I'm doing. And even shout out to Chad. I mean, I guess I can say this, but he even walked by trying to say like, "Hey, use your hips more."
Yeah.
Like why during the competition, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, dude. I can't. This is not the time.
It's tough, when you have to
I
go
was
on the
like,
fly.
I think I am, but and like literally when you're on that, and every time the ski erg comes out, it's always in a competition. And I was like, well, we'll see what happens.
Man, let's give the old college.
Yeah,
try.
so I mean, that could have played a huge important factor, just knowing how to do a ski erg a little bit better. I mean, even just having a better technique at it. I mean, so because the whole time, like and one time, like when we transitioned, you held the handles down for me, and like I remember the first time I transitioned, I just let them go up because I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, oh shit, James left them down. Hey, can we do that? I didn't know things like little things like that, and like that can make the biggest difference. So just knowing how to. Today at the gym, I forgot who was talking about it, but they said like how we transitioned off the assault bikes. Like, we knew, like, do you and James practice that? It's like, well, we've done it, a couple times. Like, we just kind of know. I guess it's just born into your memory.
Yeah,
I guess.
You get used to it. You get accustomed to it.
Yeah, you just kind of figure out, okay, where's the pedals? I'm getting on it. He's getting off left, and even like a wall ball transition. Like Lance and I did those yesterday. And it was like, hey, how when you get ready to leave,
turn right or turn
yeah,
left.
you turn left, and like I'm standing behind you, then you just walk in, and then like even Lance. I mean, we didn't even talk about it beforehand. We just, I guess, we've done it before, and we just knew
what was going to happen.
And he even yelled it out. He was like 14, 15, boom, and you just I don't know. And it's little things like that make a big difference. I mean, maybe like a couple seconds, which
but still, I mean, we lost by a second, so
Yeah,
and
I
it'd be
mean,
like a
it
couple
adds up.
seconds could have been. Yeah, that's true. So yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, that was our last weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, so now we got the itch to do another one. And
Yeah, so Bristol throwdown.
Bristol
Burnout, not throwdown.
Bristol burnout.
No,
Burnout,
I was sitting trying to Google it, or not Google it, Instagram it again to look at the workouts, and I couldn't find it.
Sarah, we were looking at them on the way, and like looking at the events, and then like there's a little asterisk at the bottom that says all events are subject to change. So we're
All
like going through,
events.
like all events may change.
Did you see what we posted? But don't worry, just ignore that.
Like one of them was like a stadium run, or
Yeah, so that's not like the speedway run. we
Yeah, the
thought,
speedway,
right?
yeah.
But it might not be.
so it may not be. But then like the next event was like power clean, and then like there was like a workout with like a sled drag and like thrusters and like pull ups, and there's a couple other events, but they said all events are subject to change. So I guess it depends on
Like the weather.
the weather, what the I guess what kind of
equipment they have available.
equipment, that kind of thing, and how many teams sign up. So I don't know. I mean, it could be different, or we could be running a 5K for the first time. I have no idea. I hope not. Oh my god.
Fuck.
Team 5K.
A team 5K.
Good thing Sarah got those running shoes.
Oh yeah, shout out, shout out to the Runabout Sports. Well, all right. So we've been talking about competition a while, and one thing I wanted to bring up with you, just because I was talking about it on a previous podcast. Do you know what CRISPR is? You probably heard about it. On the podcast.
Yeah.
It's it's an anagram for.
Drawing a blank, yeah.
Man, it's an anagram. I couldn't tell you what it stands for, but basically replacing your DNA, adding and subtracting DNA, and you're manipulating your bacteria to maybe like fight off certain viruses or stuff that might attack your DNA.
Yeah.
So basically, you're changing
Your gene.
you're changing not only physically but also mentally. So you can make yourself
smarter,
taller.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't figure you would go the opposite direction, but yeah.
I think I'm too smart.
take a couple.
Let me turn down volume on my IQ level here. I mean, wait, that is a great point though. What if somebody did like, I think I'm too tall.
How many points? I just knocked 10 off or something like that, man.
But anyway, but we were talking about how with athletes and regulation that like if anybody decides like almost anybody might be able to buy this machine on the black market, and you're basically hacking your DNA. So it's almost learning like Matrix. Like I just learned kung fu.
Oh, kung fu, yeah.
Go show me, and they go out back, and like you just automatically know it now.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, I'm going to make myself more muscular and I don't know.
Like
or better,
change your ability to recover. Or
and like you change your DNA to create more fast twitch fibers or stuff like that. And there's like, well, how do you regulate? Because what are you just making Superman? Like, like how do you say like, oh, everybody's just gonna turn themselves into Superman?
Yeah, that's
theoretically.
I've briefly heard of that. I've heard of it a little bit as like for people trying to change their. Have you ever heard of maybe I don't want to get too off track, but like trying to change their gut biome. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, you mean like taking like pills?
Yeah,
or like elimination diets, or
so like you have like there's more like the quote everyone throws out is that there's more bacteria in you than there are cells in your body, or there's more other bacteria.
I've heard that.
So like in your stomach, your intestines, all that. There's all these like bacteria, but they call it like the local fauna, flora. Anyways, it's unique to you, and everyone has probably similar things, but it's like, you're going to have it different than I will. So it's designed for you. So like if you were to change that, because people who have like kill off with either using like anti biologic drugs or antibiotics.
Yeah.
Same thing, I'm a dummy. Where they change their effect there if they're on some kind of medication to kill off some of the bacteria. Some of it's good for you and some of it's bad in there. So like, you don't want stuff that's in your stomach to be up like under your armpit because, it's supposed to be in your stomach for a reason. So like, being able to change that, people were saying, oh, you can lose more weight if your gut is predisposed to help you digest things faster, or hey, if I really struggle digesting this type of food, your gut will be able to better than process these foods now. Okay, well, I'm going to be able to do that better. I'm more efficient, easier to lose weight. So have you ever heard of that before?
Yeah, so I've heard that.
South Park did a bit on it also. So
Well, I didn't know South Park did a bit on it, but I just know that there is tons of bacteria and stuff in your gut biome, and they will feed off basically what you put into your body,
Right.
and that also that I think Jordan Peterson was talking about it, that it can, like, I want to say nootropics, that whatever you're throwing into your gut biome and how it's manipulating and changing, that it's also going to change the way you're almost thinking.
Oh yeah.
And brain-wise.
That's
brain-wise.
No, that's right. They've done a lot of
I'm
research
with you.
showing that there's a lot of fiber, or it's not fiber. There's a lot of
Fiber.
similar. I would say like in nerve fiber, like there's similar I would say neural pathways, like like the way there's similar connections in your brain are also in your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's certain specific type of cells that are present in your gut and then present in your brain, and there's a reason why people say go with your gut, like you have a gut feeling about something, and they're thinking hey, there's probably a link between your gut and how you process information, how you decide stuff, even though it's not like you're thinking with your stomach, but essentially they're similar, like what you said, what Peterson said. Yeah, there's similar type of fiber in your brain and brain matter that are also in your stomach, and I could be off a little bit there. I probably am, but
Never.
They've found that if you damage your gut, which is like your stomach and your intestines and all that stuff like that, if you damage that, you can be also more predisposed to other diseases that would usually affect your mind. So they've also been finding that. So I mean, that makes sense. But
Yeah, it does.
so yeah, I mean with.
You like dementia or Alzheimer's?
Yeah, like early onset dementia, or memory issues, or like Alzheimer's or something like that. I mean, and this is new research, so it's not like they're like, oh gosh, if you don't take this prebiotic, you're going to get Alzheimer's. It's like hey, they've been shown a link that you take care of your gut, you'll have much better mental health, and like your
that makes sense, though.
So.
I mean,
But, yeah,
just
which is crazy to think about it, because most people think of these as totally separate. So.
I mean, if you're feeding your body exactly what you think it needs, I mean, like for me, I know that, if I trash my body just eating whatever I want to all the time, I for some reason it's like brain fog for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just I say for a weekend. I mean, if I just I don't know how I want to put this, but just trash myself, and like Monday mornings and like even training, I usually feel like. Sometimes it's like, man, I'm feeling sluggish today, or just
So
I feel like I can't think.
Yeah, so if you drank a lot, or if you ate out a lot, or if you ate a lot of foods that you don't eat a lot, or that you have 3 milkshakes and you have 10 beers that weekend, and all this stuff. So you have rather than eating better quality food, right? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. So the quality of what you put in there, and then I guess that's how what you're saying, your gut biome will change it and send it to your brain, and then. You just feel it. You usually always feel pretty good, or I guess some people just I always wondered that too, that if people who just pig out on whatever they want to eat, and if that's what you do, I don't care. But and they just feel a certain way, and to a certain way to them, this is normal. Mm-hmm. So, but if you were to change that and actually
what would the change be, or what?
Yeah. So you're all right. You start taking multivitamin, and you're not even a multivitamin, but to clean up your eating a little bit here and there. I mean, and when I say just find out what works for you, it doesn't have to be what works for you and I. But I was like, oh wait, I felt this way 3 days ago, but now that I've changed my 2 meals a day into this or whatever, it's like, man, I feel different. Do I feel better compared to the other day? And people just don't know because they stay stuck in that norm, and they're just set in their ways. I hope that makes kind of sense.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's if you're eating a poor
McDonald's.
Yeah, if you're eating really high processed foods, or not eating good stuff, and you're not going to have a lot of good nutrients in that. Things like, a lot of the micronutrients and macronutrients. Macronutrients would be like protein, carbohydrate, fat. Micronutrients would be like your, biotin, zinc, and copper, and things like that. They have, a lot of people were taking zinc a lot recently because with Corona, like zinc has been shown to promote immune response or immune health in the body. So like there's a little things. So it makes sense that if you don't get a lot of those micronutrients, yeah, you're going to have maybe either decreased brain function or decreased like, hey, if I'm eating all these really highly fatty, processed, sugary foods, I'm probably not going to be super willing to be very active. And they've shown that, activity is good for brain health. So it makes sense. Like we were saying, like, the poor choices that you'd make would directly impact like brain health or your gut health, then impacting your brain health. Does that?
It does.
Make kind of sense?
It does. And, kind of going back to what we were talking about with like, changing your DNA and stuff. What if you can manipulate your DNA to... Because there is, I think, some people out there, we've heard of like, Ocho Cinco eating McDonald's.
Oh, just, genetic freaks.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think he's always eating McDonald's, but for the lot, he does eat probably a lot of McDonald's and he can get away with it. But what if you did manipulate your DNA and just to like, whatever I put in my body, it'll just be used as fuel.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about because, you can not only, as far as like athletic performance, but be like, hey, we're going to try to find the gene that is linked to like autism or Alzheimer's or diabetes. And like, hey, I'm going to just change that because I know I have a family history of heart disease or whatever. So I'm going to tweak that. And like, so yeah, I haven't heard a lot about it. After you said it, it kind of jogged my memory a little bit, but I don't have a lot of research into it. I've heard of it, but just, that's interesting that almost scary too, because like, tinkering around in there and like, you can, I don't know.
Well, Dr. Mark Ryle, he was talking about there is a book, and I forgot who he said the author was, and I forgot the title of it now, but there is side effects to it, and it made me...
I'm sure, yeah.
So I'm going to have to go back and figure out which book and like, okay, so if I do... Because, if somebody's handed you, key to the city almost, I guess is a way to put it.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and to say that you can change anything you want to, like, hey, Chris, you can be 6 foot tall if you want. Sick. I've dreamed of this. Yeah. But okay, well, it's like almost a trade off. Like, okay, I can be 6 foot tall, but what
are the downsides?
Yeah, what's the cost of that? Am I going to have a really big forehead?
Or like, hey, like now your shape of your skeleton changes too, and maybe it's
but you'll have a humpback
or something like that.
Yeah,
that is like, okay, I'm 6 feet tall, but oh my god, I'm in pain.
But then do you just go back in there? I mean, do you find a perfect DNA sequence? I mean, do you find isn't there a Greek mythology of like the perfect? I mean, I guess Zeus is probably a perfect. Is there like a Hercules or he had strength? I guess. I don't know. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you find the perfect human being?
Oh, like define what the perfect.
Yeah, what is perfect, and like how do you?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
How do you manipulate your genes to you're perfect and everything?
I would say
there's no such thing as perfect.
Yeah, I guess that's subjective too. Yeah, so you can say, hey, like perfect for me is this, or perfect for you is this, and perfect for you is 6 feet tall, or perfect for me is like I'm going to keep my height, but I want to have.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to say. That almost everybody would just become the same person, but. That was a good point. You just said that perfect for you is different from perfect for me, and that's how we're still going to be different.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about. Because I've heard that they can do genetic testing to see if you're predisposed to hey, if your kids may be predisposed to having, my family has got like heart disease and high blood pressure, and like like I guess you could say, hey, do we carry this trait? That would be like, hey, do we carry a trait that could potentially be high risk? Like, hey, what are the odds of my kid being diagnosed with like high blood pressure or heart disease or something like that? And I've heard they've done research with that, but I don't know enough about it. But that's interesting to talk about being able to modify and change. I'd just be interested they've done any experiments with that kind of thing. It seems almost like sci-fi. When you think about it, when you say it out loud, it's like, man, this is like.
Because deep down, I almost think that almost every person obviously wants to change something about themselves.
I'm sure everyone there. There's like probably any tiny little thing someone would be like, I'd like to do this 6 feet tall.
And then if you find the shortcut of doing it, and then it's all you got to do. Hey, dude, which I don't know how you go in and you change your sequence. Like, I mean, when he was talking about like you hack your DNA and you find. That certain, and I'm butchering this really bad, but that certain DNA sequence, how do you change it to exactly what you want it to be? And then what do you do? I mean, I mean, do you just hook yourself up to a computer?
Yeah.
And it automatically downloads that into you, or do you
Matrix,
you take a hair follicle out?
Yeah.
And then I don't know. That would have been a good question. Huh. Sorry, Doc. Sorry, Dr. Mark. I forgot to ask you that.
It's interesting, and it's also like think about scary to think about it being like, hey, to change something. What does that mean? Okay, yes, I changed this, but the change is also going to be linked with this, or hey, I'm going to change my height, but all of a sudden now the gene that expresses my how much I sweat changes also. So now all of a sudden I can't control how much I sweat. Man, I don't know. This is the way I think. Maybe because go to a dark place and think about sometimes hey, the side effects of a drug are sometimes worse than the actual thing that they're trying to help with.
It's like we just said. What's the trade off?
Yeah, that's I bet you in. I don't know, you do one of those. Hey, I bet you in 50 years they have flying cars. And I bet you in the way that how fast technology moves that they probably are like, all right, this is how we're going to try to fix this disease or condition or whatever. But hey, we could also use that to make people jump really high too. So
yeah, but some people are going to argue, well, no, that's not normal. That's not how it's supposed to be. And your body was, you're made to be who you are by, and you can have a religious background for it or whatever. But then there's also an argument that, well, like you and I, we work out and we eat a certain way and blah, blah, blah. I mean, our bodies, we are almost supplementing and enhancing our bodies that way. And that's not,
I see what you're saying.
That's not natural.
Yeah.
But it's also that, well, I mean, there is a lot of proven great positives to that. So,
yeah.
But it's not a downfall.
Yeah, I guess, I mean,
don't know.
I guess it would be like one of those. Yeah, I mean, as long as if you were willing to try it on yourself and it wasn't going to affect somebody else, you'd be like, I guess why not?
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to be an early adopter.
I would not want to be the first one.
I wouldn't mind keeping up with it and just
unless I was on death's door and I'd be like, all right, yeah, just test it out.
That's a great point. I mean, just like you said, if you have dementia, you can't remember anything about like Muhammad Ali. Lived a great life and had a great career. I guess he had a great life. I don't know. But he had a great career, but then towards the end, he couldn't remember anything he ever done.
Yeah, because he's a boxer. He gets hit in the head so many times.
Exactly. And that's also a good question. I mean, we might be running out of time here, but at that point, do you want to be like, hey, I want to be able to remember my career?
That was Sarah. She gave us the signal.
Rang the dinner bell?
The dinner bell, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, we can take it home on that one.
Yeah.
Just and that was another question I was getting ready to bring up is that
quality of life and that.
Yeah, you're married and you're talking about kids maybe in the future and stuff and you never played football, right?
No, I did not.
Okay, so
my mom thought I was going to get hurt doing that, so she let me play lacrosse.
But Arian Foster? He was on a podcast and he plays foosball, right?
Yeah,
for.
If he was for the
God, I can't even remember now.
For not Longhorns,
Texans.
Texans.
Okay, good. All right. So anyway, that they asked him if he was going to let his kids play football, and he
said no.
He's like, nah, man, I don't want to. He's like, if they really want to, I guess I'll support them.
Yeah.
He's like, I will do my best to steer them away the best that I can, just because of
like all the risk.
There's
a handful of guys that have all retired early. They're like 21 and I just saw the guy next to me get...
Like Calvin Johnson.
Yeah. I mean...
He was like early 30s.
There's a guy from the Niners, too, that was just got like a fat check and was like a rookie or a second year or something like that. And he was really freaked out about getting... getting a concussed and then being like, I don't want to be able to walk on my own later. Or I want to be in my 60s, be able to remember my kids and stuff like that. Because, shit.
Yeah, who wants it?
Yeah, I mean, your quality of life, if you take all those shots to the head and then,
Yeah, I mean,
oh my gosh.
We've talked about it before. You can't get out of bed without taking 6 ibuprofen.
Oh, yeah.
And then, you shots to the head, you can't remember your life or you can't remember.
I would say, I don't know, I would say the quality of life thing, especially, towards the end, oh my gosh. Say, let's say if your life was, in the thirds, childhood to adolescence, then you have adulthood, and then you have later adulthood, retired. Think retired plus. I would want to not have to be in pain every single day for the next 10 years, 5 years, every single day. Of like, gosh, I mean, even though, yes, I lived like a great life, like playing football, and I've never played football, and I haven't played in the NFL, so, you know, I don't know anything. It's like,
You didn't play in the NFL?
No, I didn't play it. Sorry. Yeah, surprisingly, untalented white guy. Yeah, I was like 5'9" on a tall day. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You hear some of those guys tell stories and being like, yeah, I had to struggle to get my pants on this morning, and I couldn't remember where I was. All of a sudden, I was driving, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't know. I think I would probably, if my kids really, really wanted to do it, support them, but like just let them know, like, hey, this is what could happen to you. Like, give them the most information as possible, make a decision. But I probably wouldn't, like, I don't know. I could be totally different in 5 years and be like, yeah, kid's not playing football. I don't know.
Hey, man, you know, you're not playing.
Like,
you can get the fuck you are.
The fuck you are. Think you are playing football. Watch it on TV, dude.
Yeah, just be like everybody else watching on TV.
Yeah, no, that's a tough question. Because, you know, I can see both sides. I mean, like, you know, my parents let me play any sport that I want to play, except football. My mom was like, you play lacrosse. You know, I got like jacked up playing lacrosse, too. I got concussed playing lacrosse, too. So, I mean, at least 2 of them that I know.
Really?
Yeah.
You think it changed your brain and the way you think?
I mean, could, but, I mean, not that I'm aware of. But I think if I had multiple, like, I mean, I remember sitting down for once. I remember I got hit in it was like one of those that helmet turned, like ear hold. Have you heard of that? Like,
yeah.
So my helmet turned, yeah. And then, like, I remember getting hit so hard that the cage of my helmet, or I got something, how I cut the top of my nose, like somehow, like either helmet moved around. Anyways, I was out for like a week after that, but that was like the concussion protocol at the time. But so I've only had 2 that I'm aware of. I think I had one. I might have had one playing ultimate frisbee. It was like fell on the ground and like hit my head on the ground or something like that. But so, anyways, back to what I was saying. My parents pretty much would support me. I think any like sport I wanted to play, they'd be like, all right, if you really want to do it, we'll try it. And I probably tried lots of sports, and I was like, no, this ain't for me.
I don't like being hit.
I don't like this as much. So yeah, but yeah, that's a tough question. So I don't know.
All right, well, again,
I have to think about it for our next one, right?
Yeah, we'll keep that on the table for the next podcast.
Yeah,
and then so dinner bell's ringing.
Yeah,
let's go eat some
steaks. Yeah,
sounds like a good Saturday night.
Maybe enjoy some more tasty white dog.
Get a little white dog against Shadow Buffalo Trace.
And Termana if you're listening to rock. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, I ain't had that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
maybe more than a couple of weeks probably. But thanks for being here.
Yeah, man. As always, it's been a pleasure.
Okay, I love you.
I love you.
All right, bye everybody. We're out.
See ya.